This episode has been brought to you by FlowState, the unlimited Webflow development service. Find out more at flowstate.dev. Hello and welcome to another episode of Webflow and Code, where I teach you the underlying code you're writing in Webflow. In a previous episode, I teased you with the prospect of teaching you about kind of Node.js and JS functionality of your website in the form of keyboard and mouse users and how we can use that to display different user interfaces. This episode is going to be pretty tricky to describe because we're tackling two things right now. One, that we should be looking at our website and how it performs when no JavaScript is available. And this could be for a couple of reasons. It could be a slow connection, or it could just be that there is just no JavaScript. The JavaScript file is 404 or whatever. But also tackling an issue with specifically GSAP, where you want to animate things in above the fold, but you get a flash of the design before the GSAP is able to kick in. Again, this could be through a slow connection. So we're going to tackle the issue of testing out your website with no JavaScript in a practical way. Before we kick things off, I've opened up a Webflow and Code community over on Twitter or X. So just search me on @FakeSamGregory. I think the community appears on my profile there. So I hope to see you in the X community. This replaces my Discord community, by the way. Anyway, on with the episode. So here we have my travel website. And what I've done is I've got a bit of code in here that emulates a bit of a slow connection. And what I'm looking at right now is the word Travel Book Pro, where I've got GSAP animating that in. But due to the slow connection, you're seeing this flash of the words before the GSAP has actually loaded. And you'll find this in many circumstances, such as if you use Slater, which is a no-code support system for custom code that I use and have done an episode on. The JavaScript takes its time to load and therefore can't hide the content, right? So many reasons why that might happen. So how do we resolve this flash of content? Well, you could hide it on page load. I tend to add a special attribute called data hide at start. And inside, we're just going to do it in the code here, but inside of my style, we get that attribute, data hide at start, and we set what typically GSAP will fade in from whenever you use something like auto alpha. So if we set the opacity to 0 and visibility to, is it hidden in a string like that? I don't think it is. Yeah, I think it's that. And we see that exactly as it is. But the thing is, what we need to be mindful of is if we disable JavaScript, because of that CSS that's hiding the element when the page loads, it's hiding it with no JavaScript enabled to bring it into existence. How interesting, I didn't expect that. So Webflow's own interactions don't have this fail-safe in. Interesting. So how do we do this? Well, what Webflow actually do is that when JavaScript is enabled, and we'll do that now, and refresh, what you'll see is that they've added a wmod.js class to the HTML element on the page. And this only exists when JavaScript is enabled. So what we can do is if we go back to our CSS, we only want to hide at start when wmod.js is available. It's not hierarchically, if it's not higher up than hide at start, then we're just going to show and everything should be hunky-dory. And refresh, everything should be as we expect it because JavaScript is enabled. Cool. And then if we disable JavaScript, what we'll probably find is that Webflow's own interactions won't work because they depend on JavaScript. If we refresh, then my Travel Book Pro is just there. There's no hiding of the element because my JavaScript isn't there to kind of bring it into existence, as I say. So that's kind of it. I think Webflow need to only trigger their interactions when JavaScript is available. If it's not, any of the styles or whatever that get applied through the interactions shouldn't be there. So this is one of the many ways by showing you that by disabling JavaScript, you can get a real indication of how your website behaves on slow connections, where there's 404 on JavaScript, which is probably kind of unlikely at the moment, but slow connections, absolutely. And how you can work around some of that stuff. And it's good to see it in a GSAP context, because I know a lot of people are getting excited about GSAP right now. So it kind of gives you that little nugget of information there, how to resolve that flashing of information. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. Join my community over on Twitter or X that I've started. You can find me at FakeSamGregory. And until next time, happy no coding.